The following video showcases big data. Basically, first we're going to introduce the concept, how can it be applied, some use cases, and then we decided to apply it to a local company to help us understand how big data can be used. To define the concept is quite difficult because there is no one single explanation. Some people say it's just a trend term, but basically big data means having a lot of data that has to be processed and analyzed in order to understand and solve a complex problems or a challenge that a company has. There are 5 concepts or 5 key elements that help us understand if we are talking or not about big data. The first one is volume, which refers to the quantity of the amount of information that has to be processed, and is usually in this case, as I mentioned, a huge one. The other one is velocity, basically relates the speed of which data is created or processed, stored, and analyzed. The variety of data is also important, and in this case it comes in various forms, shapes, and it's not structured data. The variability means that the data is always changing. And finally, the complexity of the data means the information is not simple to process or analyze. There are also several ways big data can create value to a company. Basically, the first one is by creating transparency. So when data is available to all stakeholders in real time, it can help improve processes and handle time more efficiently. The second one is enable experimentation to discover needs, expose variability, and improve performance. Making possible to collect more and accurate data allows the organizations to make more efficient experiments and play with the data they have. And this can also lead to understand the causes of a problem and find solutions to improve performance. Big data can also help us with the segmentation of population to customize or tailor-made the actions. So it's important as a marketing and sales tool since it allowed us to segment the market and create specific actions or products according to the customer needs. The fourth one is replacing and supporting human decisions making with automated algorithms. So having the real-time information allowed managers to take more accurate decisions that can actually be automated if the right data is available, or if in case it's not, since the information is processed by software rather than a human being, the risks are minimized. And the final one is innovating new business models, products, and services. Since we have all the data we need to understand the customer needs, it's also possible to forecast new requirements to create new lines of products and services that can be innovative. Since the concept of big data is quite abstract, I think the best option to understand it better is to check some of the applications it has. So for example, it can help prevent fraud credit cards companies when they analyze the transactions. Also, companies like Facebook are using big data to understand the user's behavior and plan the advertising based on that. Farmers use big data to predict the right time to collect their crops, so they show us that it's being used in different industries. In other platforms, for example, like Uber, it helps us analyze how the customers travel and the real-world events like accidents and how these will affect people commute. Finally, for example, Google created a website to predict estimates of flu and dengue fever based on search patterns. In that graphic, for example, we can see the search pattern of flu in Argentina and Belgium. So based on that, Google could predict there will be an epidemic of flu.
Well, we're talking about use cases big data. Big data has many use cases. We're describing some of them. The first one is data mining. Data mining is a set of techniques to extract information from large datasets by mixing methods. That methods are association rule learnings. That mean when a company put two or more products in order to know what is the behavior of purchase about this product. The most common example is the day part and beer. The another one method is classification. That means a prediction about the behavior of the customer. An example could be a supermarket. The supermarket wants to know what type of products people are looking for or what type of people always buying in order to influence the buy decision. The another one is cluster analysis. That means the segmentation. This segmentation could be done by place, population, gender. The example of the target certain kind of products sometimes is led by the young people. That means that the promotion must address to this kind of population. The another one is machine learning. It's also called artificial intelligence. That means all data that is the social media which describe a trending topic could be analyzed the reacting of the people about this topic. The last one is regression that is used to predict something, and this method depend of the dependent variables is very useful to forecast, for example, the sales.
To understand even better how big data can be used in a company, we use the local example of Mensajeros Urbanos. This is an on-demand platform that connects customers with delivery boys, and it uses big data to create prediction models that improve their services and allow them to scale their operation. In the following interview, Juan Pablo Pineda, Marketing and Data Science Director, will explain us how they use big data in the company.
I'm Juan Pablo Pineda, and I'm Director of Marketing and Data Science at Mensajeros Urbanos. And I've been working here for over 2 years. Well, the company is a technological platform which links two different networks. One is a network of clients that they're looking for logistics solutions, such as an e-commerce, restaurant, and even a natural person that needs to send something to a relative or something like that. And we link them with a network of delivery boys, which are in charge of solving this logistics solution that they have. The company started about 4 years ago. It started in a startup weekend, and Rafael Cerraz and Juan David Vizcaya, which are the founders, they meet there and they decided to create a company which now is Mensajeros Urbanos. Okay, I think that the main difference is that since the beginning, since the creation of the company, it wasn't thought as a traditional like messaging service. We are not a messaging company, we are a technological company, and as I said before, what we do is to link different networks. We are an on-demand company, and that's like the main difference to traditional companies of messaging. We don't have our own delivery boys, for example. We just make some awesome platform and some awesome technology that links them very well. So basically, they find the best delivery boy for your specific needs. And that's something that traditional messaging companies can't do because of their lack of technology and their traditional mindset. Well, basically, you just enter to our webpage or you download our app, You sign up and ask for a delivery boy. You tell the first direction where you need him to go, for example, to pick up your keys, and you then give a description of what the messenger has to do, what the delivery boy has to do in that place, and then you at the second direction, which is the second place where the delivery boy has to go, you also give a description, and the service is sent to our network. The delivery boy who is near and who has the best score will see the notification that there is this service in the network, and he just plays, okay, I want to take it, and he just follows the instructions that you give him. At the end of the service, you as a customer will receive a notification telling you that the service was done successfully. The whole process is 100% transparent. You can see where he is, how long he's taking in each point, and you can see that he's starting to go to another place. You can call us and say, hey, my delivery boy is just going away, I don't understand why. And we'll make the tracking to understand what is happening. So it's full transparent for the customer. At the end, you will receive a notification telling you that the service was finished, and you will give him a qualification of from 1 to 5.
Okay.
Based on your experience.
Okay.
Well, it's based on a lot of different variables with different ponderations each one. I think that the variable which has the most ponderation is the distance, because one of our main difference with other service and other competitors is that when you ask for a delivery boy, we want him to be in your door in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes maximum. And the only way to guarantee this is by assigning the delivery boy who is nearest to you. So when you ask for a delivery boy, we'll look the distance, and based on that, we will assign it to the delivery boy. Also, there are other variables, such as if you need, for example, to send a big, package that needs to have some special requirements for the delivery boy, then we'll segment this network for that. And if it's a long distance that you need, then we don't send delivery boys which are in bicycle, because it will take just too long.
Okay.
So we need motorcycles in the cases.
Okay.
Active, that means that they take at least one service a month. We have about 3,000. We are about 90 full-time employees. Well, that's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I think that there are many definitions of big data, mainly because it's a buzzword. Everyone is talking about it, and no one really understands what it is, or maybe they start thinking too much of what it is, and they stop thinking of how does it really work for your company. I believe that big data is just a series of techniques and tools and methodologies that are used when the characteristics of your data make it very difficult for you to analyze and to extract value from them through traditional techniques and traditional tools. So when you treat with the small data or medium data, you have this set and this toolkit that you can analyze, and you can extract value from the data. And these tools are, for example, local computers, traditional processing power, and traditional relational databases. These are the traditional tools, and these are very good for solving small data and medium data problems. But when the characteristics of your data make it invaluable for you to analyze them with these tools, then you're affronting a big data problem. And when you have a big data problem, then you can't use your computer to analyze data. You need to start using parallelized programming in the cloud, and you stop using relational databases to store the data, you start using non-relational databases. Well, there's a lot of different tools. But my definition would be that when you can't analyze it through traditional tools because of the characteristics of the data, then you're in a big data problem.
Okay.
I think that you can make data science, you can make business intelligence, you can make business analytics, also with small data. And the only difference between big data and these ones is that the way that you analyze and you extract value from them is different. You need different tools and different toolkits. But you can make business analytics with small and with big data.
Okay.
I'm clear with that?
Yeah.
So basically, for example, you can make a machine learning algorithm that can be taught, that can learn from small data. Big data is just like an enabler for you to make better predictions and to maybe understand better the intrinsic patterns of your data. Because when you have big data, then you have more data, and it's better to have more than less. But that doesn't mean that you can start analyzing things with small data, and that doesn't mean that you can start finding patterns in small data. And it depends also in the domain where you are. So if the whole sample of the data of your domain is small, then you will find very relevant patterns in small data. I think that big data is just a methodology and a tools, and business analytics is just a series of techniques used to extract value. Like, you can use big data to improve your business analytics, but it isn't conditional to that. Well, we use, for some specific areas in what we do, we use big data, but I can say that the 90% of what we do here is meeting data. So we can't process our data in a laptop, but we can do it in a cloud service with very good RAM and processing power. We are not, at least not now, we are not using parallel processing power that is like the main framework used for processing big data.
Okay.
We use it, but for very specific things. Only 10% of what we do with data today.
Okay, like what things?
So, I think that I always look at like a pyramid where you have these different levels of creating value out of data. So you can try to be like start in the beginning, like start at the top of the pyramid. You need to start always in the bottom. So the bottom is just to create these KPIs and create all the traditional business intelligence platforms. So you need, when you have a very young team of professionals like we are, you can't trust in the gut feeling. So when you have to take a big decision, you can trust in what, like in your whole years of experience, because many of us, we are just starting and we don't have like this amount of experience. So the only reliable way of taking a good decision is through analyzing data and having a very good understanding of your business through data. So what we do at the beginning is create all these KPIs, create all the real-time dashboards that start creating like these basic descriptive analytics of your business, such as your growth, such as how many delivery boys you have, which is the line of service that you are providing which generates more revenue. These are like the basic things that you can make with data. Then after you have this check, you can go up and you start making what it's called data analysis and maybe business analytics, where you start solving very difficult questions, such as telling you which are the variables that affect the most the income of our delivery boys. Okay? Traditional business intelligence doesn't answer that, but business analytics does. And we start using more advanced techniques, we start using some programming languages such as R or Python to start understanding these relationships, and we start using statistics in order to find them. And start using statistical models to find, okay, if we increase in 1% this variable, will increase in 25% the income of our delivery boys, and that's what we want. So I tell the guys from the operations area to, okay, you maybe start working here because it's the best place to start working. Then you go one step ahead, and it's what I call data science. And basically data science is just start using machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms in order to create prescriptive analytics. And the prescriptive analytics is when you predict, but you just don't stop there, but you create a software that takes decisions by its own. So the algorithm predicts that here during the next hour, during the next hour in this specific zone of the city, we will have this amount of demand, and the algorithm and the software by itself tells the delivery guys to go there and in real time start giving these like insights to these people. And this is what we are most proud about, and I think that here is where you can extract the most value out of it. And it's like the full automation of many processes in your company through big data sometimes, but mainly through machine learning and artificial intelligence. Well, we always been working with open source software, so we don't rely on any vendor. Only for the dashboards we use a vendor, which is Microsoft Power BI service, but the rest is always open source. So we use two programming languages that are very strong in the data science community, which are the Python and R. Python is very good for data mining and to deploying into production all these softwares that you created. And R is more an academic software, not software, it's more an academic language that is very good at analyzing and making data exploration. So if you want to understand, for example, the relationship between income and some variables of the delivery boys, you use R, because R is awesome for this. If you want to create an API that connects into the production software and takes decisions by itself, then you use Python, because it's very easy to deploy into production. We also use, of course, SQL. This is like the basic language for querying databases, relational databases. And for big data, as I told you before, we use Spark, which is a framework for parallel processing.
Cluster analysis. Clustering is the place to start for any business looking to segment and pull insight from the customer data. Mensajeros Urbanos use this technique of taking the data and separate it into groups that are similar. Using clustering allows to create a market segmentation of the customers, so they can market to segments with targeted content and deals. By receiving feedback from tweets and Facebook posts, Mensajeros Urbanos is able to know how their audience is engaging at the individual level through click tracking, online purchases, and social sharing. Clustering is also called exploratory data mining because these techniques help find out relationships in large datasets that are too hard to identify to the naked eye. Optimization modeling. Optimization is the practice of mathematically formulating a business problem and then solving that mathematical representation for the best solution. In Mensajeros Urbanos, this technique is used to minimize the times of collection and delivery of the service by transforming the messenger's transactional data. Artificial intelligence model. In supervised artificial intelligence, you can train a model to make predictions using data that's already being classified. Emails are a classic document classification problem, but in Mensajeros Urbanos it could be used to make predictions of the type of the service that is required. Through a statistical model, it is possible to predict the service requirement in real time when the customer describes their need on the homepage. Forecasting. In quantitative forecasting, past data is used to predict a future outcome. It is one of the most simple and most used technique in business today. Some examples of typical forecasting problems are about taking some data point over time, like sales, demand, and supply, and projecting that data into the future. In Mensajeros Urbanos, it could be implemented to organize and predict the sales and the number of messengers required by zone or cluster.
So from this video, it is possible to conclude that big data is a huge tool that companies can use to optimize and improve the processes using different methods depending on what their needs are. It's also possible to say that the analysis of big data is in real time and that helps the companies to take better decisions. As for the specific case of Mensajeros Urbanos, it is possible to conclude that the analysis of information helps them to optimize the process of delivery in terms of time, quality, and cost, solving complex problems across all the departments of the company. Having not used big data, the growth of the company would have been slower and more limited. Based on the interview and the information, we think that if the company applies big data using forecasting, they could be more precise and have more exact figures, for example, of the sales of X day or X period of time, and this will allow them to take even better decisions.